All right, guys, welcome back again to the channel. So, obviously, the big news: South Africa has now been given a punishment from FIFA for fielding an ineligible player back in March when they played Lesotho in the World Cup qualifying series. And for that reason, the result is that they've now been 3 points have now been slashed from their points, and then minus 3 goals as well. So it's now bring them sadly to a total points of 14, which is tie right now with Benin Republic, but they are in second position because Benin has 1 goal more than the South African side. So this is definitely a good news for all of the other teams, but definitely also a bad news for the South African team, the coach, the management, because they'll be kicking themselves and be wondering, how did we get this to slip, right from under our noses? Like, how did we not even know that we were not supposed to play Mokoena? Because these are the kinds of silly mistakes that you can make as a team, and it's going to cost you on the long run because they have the management, people who are in charge of taking account of players who have collected a couple of yellow cards, players who are in danger of missing the next games, players who are supposed to miss the next game. So there's really no excuse why this could have just slipped right from under their noses, and no one was able to say, like, hey, Mokoena is not supposed to play this match, please don't play him. Everybody just kept quiet, and then at the end of the day, the man played, and right now this is the repercussion. But I'm not trying to come here to cry for South Africa, because I mean, deep down in my heart as a Nigerian fan, obviously I'm happy, even though I sympathize with South Africa right now, because I mean, 3 points is really difficult in this qualifiers group. We've seen how it is, and to just have that being taken away from you after the hard work, it's something that is obviously very painful. So I'm very, very aware that it's a very difficult time for them, but it's also a good time for the Super Eagles, the Benin Republic, the Rwanda. In fact, this is a perfect opportunity for them to try to um, oust South Africa. Benin has already done that as it stands right now, based on point goal difference. But this is the chance right now to drag for that top spot position, for these countries. But it's not going to be easy, especially when you go from here. Talk about the remaining two games. This is like the most dramatic moment of this Group C that we are going to see. Just to give you some update about the matches that these three countries are going to play. Nigeria have a game against Lesotho away, and then they have against Benin Republic at home. South Africa have a game against Zimbabwe away, and then Rwanda home. But we talked about that before. Zimbabwe game is going to play in South Africa, so it's technically like two home games, right? Yeah. And then Benin Republic have a game against Rwanda and Nigeria. So you just take a look at the fixtures. It's just a full circle. These teams are very dependent on each other. South Africa are dependent on Nigeria to beat the Benin Republic for them. Um, what's it called? Nigeria are dependent on Zimbabwe to beat South Africa, and vice versa. So that's just how it goes right now, going into this final round. And for Nigeria Super Eagles, this is the last chance. We've talked about last chance. This is the last chance. We've talked about it several times, but for real, this is the last chance for the Super Eagles to try to see if they can qualify against all odds. They have to beat Benin Republic in their next game. They really have to beat Benin Republic. It's not about beating Benin Republic for South Africa, but beating Benin Republic for themselves, because as it stands, you see the points difference. Nigeria have 11 points, Benin Republic and South Africa 14 points. So they have to not just beat Benin Republic, but also beat Lesotho in the final game. So that's how it works right now. Everything is set. The stage is set. FIFA has done, you know, everything that they can do for this Group C and the countries therein. So it's left for these countries now to show that they also can help themselves. No one can blame FIFA and be like, they are siding South Africa, or they are being biased. That CAF's president is a friend with FIFA presidents, all those blah 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 kind of talk. That's why they didn't get the punishment. Right now they've got the punishment, so it's remaining for these countries to show that they also can and prove that they need to qualify. But South Africa, I think they still have the upper hands, just as I've always maintained on the channel, because I mean they already have a team that's playing well. They have cohesion in the team. They are, I mean, if you watch their games, they're able to create chances. They already have rhythm, good rhythm in the team. So it's not even a question of this point deduction. I think going into the next two games, South Africa are still like favorites to get maximum points more than the other teams, if I'm being very honest, about this Group C. But again, football is unpredictable sometimes, so it's going to be um, very interesting to see what will happen in the next FIFA break, which of course is drawing very close. Just next week, we'll start to see, the list come out, and then these guys come around to play the final rounds. It's not just the 3 points, but they also find them some money, in Swiss currency, 10,000, Swiss francs or something like that. And then Mukwana has been issued an official warning by FIFA, but they also have the right to appeal the decision. That means they can say, objection to it, and then uh, take the case to court, further to push the case further, and argue that they don't deserve that if they have enough reason to, actually push the case further. So that's what FIFA is saying, that they have 10 days to appeal the case if they think that, uh, they don't like the decision, or the decision is not fair on their side. But let's move on and talk about one man, Victor Osimhen, who is now well ready to play in the Champions League match against Liverpool tomorrow. He showed up in training, trained really well today, looked really sharp. And of course, that means one thing. It means that he's very ready to help his Gala side come back from a woeful defeat, in the first leg of the Champions League, where they lost 4 goals to 1 against Frankfurt. So the game against Liverpool tomorrow, Osimhen has been cleared for that one. So he's going to hopefully make an appearance for that game. The game is around 8 p.m. tomorrow at the home of Galatasaray. So obviously that means they'll have a lot of fans backing them against a very strong Liverpool side. Technically, one of the strongest teams in Europe as it stands right now. But beyond that, guys, there's also been some talks about Ademola Lookman, and this time is coming from the legend whom we all know, Yakubu, in a podcast where he was, talking about it. He said that the Lookman's case is really very fascinating. His issue with Atlanta, but he's glad that Lookman and Atlanta have been able to settle their differences, and that Lookman has returned back to training. He has even made appearance in the match. He also uh, heaps praise on Atlanta side for accepting Lookman back into the squad, and for forgiving everything that has been done before, and just accept him back, and give him a second chance. But he feels that it's normal in football. Sometimes these kinds of things happen when you want to make that move, that you feel is the next step in your career, and you're so driven, you want to make it, but all of a sudden it doesn't happen. It kind of brings you down. It demoralizes you a lot. He says that's what Lukman is passing through, and he understands it. He totally understands it, and which is why he's not really surprised that Lukman has been quiet, of late. Even since like he came back into the squad, because obviously it's something that he's going to need a little bit of time to um, get back into his rhythm. Playing for the club. But at the end of the day, he feels that Lukman is going to come good again for the club. The only thing that he needs to do is to stay focused, put his mind and body and soul into the game, and rediscover his best days. So that's what Yak is doing now. He's backing Ademola Lookman to come back stronger and do what he knows how to do best, which is obviously score goals and then help his team get results. In his words, he said, I know situations like this can be very difficult for a player. When a move you were expecting doesn't happen, it affects the state of mind. But I must commend Lukman for staying patient and Atlanta for welcoming him back for me, the most important thing is that he is back on the pitch because that is where he can do what he does best, scoring goals and making an impact for his team. Atlanta need him, and he also need Atlanta to keep pushing his career forward. It's good to see they have found common ground, and I hope from here he can enjoy his football again and stay focused and deliver the performances we all know he is capable of. So that's how the legendary Yakubu ended it. But all the same, we wish the man all the best. Of course, it's going to start slow for him. He's being integrated into the squad is not going to just come once and he will start seeing him playing 90 minutes. No, he has to prove himself again. He's been getting few minutes here and there in recent games. So he has to be introduced into the squad again, little by little, until he finds his mojo back again. But that is the update, guys. Thanks for watching. Leave your reaction on the comment section and stay tuned for more stories.